everyone, and welcome back. In today's video, we will be going a little bit deeper into one of the Hermetic principles we had discussed a few days ago. So, Sterling, what can you tell us about the all?
Well, the all is a great spiritual paradox. It says that the all is all and the all is in all. And the paradox being, how can the all be in everything and then be everything at the same time? Okay. Now, when we can think about the all is everything and nothing inhabiting the same space and time together, and then yet not. Okay. It is something that you can't comprehend. You can have an understanding, a bit of an understanding of what it is, the principle, but if you were ever to actually comprehend the all, you would join the all and not exist in our three-dimensional reality anymore. It wouldn't work. Okay. So that's what the all is. It is in religion, it is the omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient God. It is the all-powerful, the all-knowing, okay, and the ever-present God in all things. Okay. So in mathematics, the sphere, okay, that encircles everything and everything touches.
Okay.
It would be that principle.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. It is infinite. It is infinity. Okay. And at the other end of it, it is absence. Okay. It is everything. It is good. It is evil. It is graceful. It is fallen. It is all of it. There is nothing outside of it. For anything to be outside of the all would mean that there is something more powerful than it. And there isn't anything more powerful than it because it is everything. Okay? So for some reason, we don't know what or why, the all decided it needed to make divisions within itself. And these are not separations, these are divisions. And they're mathematical. Okay? And that created 1, 2, and 3-dimensional reality. Okay? Now, there could be more, could be 4th dimension, 5th dimension, 6th dimension. We live in the 3rd, so it doesn't really matter. Okay? And what we're calling the 3rd dimension is energy broken down into 3 parts. Okay? That is our definition of dimension for everybody out there, so that you don't, there are so many different definitions of dimensions that people use. I want to make clear what ours is. Okay? This is not the Marvel multi-universe where there's hundreds or millions of them or things of that nature. We're talking about a split between 1, 2, and 3-dimensional reality, and that's a dimension for us. Okay. Now, when it made this division within itself, the first division that it made was a reflection of itself. That's essentially what our universe is. Okay. That reflection is feminine. Okay. Feminine energy. Okay. It is passive. It is receptive. Okay. We call this the soul of the universe. Now, on the other side of that, the all then pours energy into the soul of the universe. The energy being poured into the soul of the universe is what we call the spirit of the universe. The spirit of the universe is the masculine side because it's projective into the receptive side.
It's the expression of
yes. It's the expression. It is what makes the ability for anything to interact, where the soul is the potential of all things and substance. Okay? But without the spirit of the universe, the soul of the universe does nothing. It just sits there. Okay? Without the soul of the universe, the spirit of the universe has nothing to express. There is no potential. There's nothing out there. So neither one of them can exist essentially without the other.
Okay, so kind of the idea in some of the mythologies of the balance between order and chaos, essentially.
Sure, yeah. Order and chaos, finite, infinite, all work through there. But again, it's the first breakdown was masculine, feminine. Okay, the relationship between the soul of the universe and the spirit of the universe. Okay, as I said, one's projective, one's receptive. So one's pouring energy into the other one, and the other one is receiving it. Okay, and allowing it to exist. One-dimensional energy. We already know what that is. Those are just 1 points. Okay, and again, masculine and feminine then divide themselves into 2 parts. Masculine energy divides into fire energy and air energy. Fire energy not being a flame, air energy not being a gas. Okay, when we're talking at this level, they're just two parts of energy, and that's what they were called. Okay, fire would be heat in one-dimensional reality, air would be agility. Okay, on the other side of that, you have feminine energy that divides into two. Water then becomes grossness without overstepping its bounds, and earth becomes firmness. Okay? And that's the first split of the four elements. Okay? They are 1 point each, and they're just measurements of that. Okay? Now, two-dimensional reality. The elements flow into two-dimensional reality, but they change into power cycles. Okay? And cycles are born. So what we have are fire is hot and dry. Earth is dry and cold. Water is cold and moist. Okay? Air is moist and hot. Okay? They follow that cycle from one to the other. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
And they transform and repeat, transform and repeat, transform and repeat, transform and repeat. Okay?
Now you're talking cycles. What element would then begin the cycle?
It depends. Okay? If you talking about the senses, okay,
Mm-hmm.
for us, so to speak, water would, that's sensitivity. Okay? Water is cold and moist.
Okay.
Okay? That's sensitivity. That moves into interaction, which is moist and hot, which is air. Okay? First you feel it, then you process it, whatever you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Moist hot becomes expression, which is fire. Hot and dry. Okay? Goes through the cycle of first you feel it, okay, then you process it, okay, then it hits your will and your drive, and you determine what to do with it, how to express it, what you're going to do, okay, and then it moves into earth, which is dry and cold. Earth is the substance, okay, it creates the form, the shape of that energy, and completes that cycle, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right? And once that cycle is complete, it moves into another cycle. Okay? But it's not the same cycle. The cycle is 4 parts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The easiest way to look at that is the way that our seasons work. Okay? And our seasons begin not with water, our seasons begin with air. Okay? The energy of spring is moist and hot.
Yes. Yep.
Okay? That's air. Okay? Which
Okay.
transforms into summer, which is hot and dry.
Mm-hmm.
Which transforms into autumn, which is dry and cold.
Okay. Yeah.
Which transforms into winter, which is cold and moist. Okay. Once that cycle is complete, the year doesn't continue to go, the year stops, new year begins. Okay. So everything is cyclical. Okay. And it begins two-dimensionally. Now, what also begins two-dimensionally, okay, is polarities begin to exist, pop up, okay? And we can see that through the power cycles. You know, dry, moist, cold, hot, okay? We have those polarities. Archetypes pop up. All things divided into two pop up. Duality pops up. All polarities pop, okay? Then we move into three-dimensional reality. Now, when we move into three-dimensional reality, what happens is something happens with the reflection that we talked about, the first division. It's still there, but we know what happens to light, essentially, when it hits a reflective object. Part of it reflects
Right.
in,
And
the other part refracts off.
Refracts. Yep.
Okay? Third dimensional reality is the refraction, okay, of that energy into 3 parts. Okay? Positive charge, which we call protons, negative charge, which we call electrons, and absence of charge that takes up space inside of a nucleus, which we call neutrons.
Neutron. Yeah.
Okay? The building blocks of matter, essentially. That's where we go. Okay? That's what happens with refraction. It creates matter. Okay? And it takes the elements and it splits them again into 3 parts instead of 2. So two-dimensionally, you still have your power cycles. Three-dimensionally, however, we have what we call qualities. Okay? And those qualities are called cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Well, cardinal energy is personal. Okay, those are protons. Protons decide what an element is going to be on the periodic table is the atomic weight, and protons determine that. Okay, they're inside the nucleus. So that's personal energy. Okay, electrons are not inside the nucleus; they're outside the nucleus. Okay, but they attract others to them.
Yes. Yes.
So they build. That's what fixed energy does. Okay. Neutrons, again, absence of space, it takes up space inside. Okay. But because they're absence, it takes up space. Okay. We can look at that as zero. That's what zero is in mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is either complete absence before a number, or it's absence that takes up space after a number. Okay. That is infinite. Okay. That is zero, no beginning, no end. Okay. That is spiritual. So cardinal, fixed, and mutable becomes personal, creative, and spiritual. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And again, it splits all of the elements into three. So then, that's what we call astrological signs. That's what the astrological signs are. Okay. You can say, what is Aries? Well, Aries is fire, so it's expression. And it's cardinal, so it's personal. So Aries is actually personal expression.
Okay.
Okay. We'll take the first month, or not month, but first season, spring. Okay. We already have Aries. Now we'll go to Taurus. Well, Taurus is earth, so it's substance. And it's fixed, so it's creative. So it's creative substance. And that's what Taurus is. Okay. And then we have Gemini. Gemini is mutable energy, so it's spiritual. Okay. But it is also air, so it's interaction. So it's spiritual interaction. Okay. It gives you a better, I think, defined, what do you want to call it, definition of what the signs actually are. And the rest of them follow suit all the way around. Okay. They're either going to be personal, creative, or spiritual. They're either going to be expression, interaction, sensitivity, or substance. Okay. And each of those kind of help define what the signs actually are.
Okay.
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 The
Now,
energy, yes.
when you're talking astrological signs,
Mm-hmm.
you're not talking just constellations in the night sky.
No, no. The energy does not come from the constellations and the stars in the constellation. That has nothing to do with it. The energy is already there. It lasts 30 degrees, we know that. What happened was, in ancient times, they looked up and they saw clusters of stars that lasted about the same period of time and went, that looks, well, for Taurus, that looks like a bowl. Okay? And it was a way for them to map it.
Okay.
That's essentially what it is. So you know, okay, we're in Taurus now. Well, now we're switching to Gemini, the sky changes, essentially. That's how you know. Okay? And you can look up, astronomers do it, astrologers do it, and that's how you know.
Okay. Okay.
That the energy is shifting, and when the energy is going to shift. Okay, that's the best way to do those. Okay, now, again, we're looking at when we're talking about the signs now. With the relationship of the spirit and the soul of the world, okay, we have the four elements. Now, there's something else that we have to talk about, and that's how does the energy connect to everything? Slam through, it's powered in, spirit of the universe is pouring energy in, soul of the universe is receiving it all. But the spirit of the universe takes on another form. It's called the quintessence, okay? And we call that, or the ancients called it aether, A-E-T-H-E-R. Has nothing to do with ether, the gas, and it's not ether, okay? It is aether. I believe one of the first who postulated it was Pythagoras, who said it was not an element. Because it does not transform. Nothing transforms into it. It doesn't transform into anything else. It transfuses into all things. The only thing in science now that we have that we can say that it would be aether would be dark matter. Because essentially dark matter essentially does the same thing.
Right.
It transfuses through all things. That's why you can't measure it. Because it doesn't actually seem to have an effect. Okay.
Except gravitationally.
Right, except gravitationally. And it's the only, or I should say it's the vehicle that the all uses to transfuse through everything. It's through aether. Okay. And it was considered a fifth element by some of the old philosophers. but inherently it can't be because it does not follow the cycle and the cyclical nature. It flows through all things and transfuses through them as opposed to
Right, right.
transforming something into something else.
Okay. So it's not an element per se. It's essentially the glue that holds the elements together.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not the all, it's just a vehicle the all uses to connect to all things
Mm-hmm.
in the universe.
Okay. Okay.
And essentially that would be like the building block of the universe and the breakdown of it. And then of course, we just talked about how the elements break down, okay? And then where do these sign energies come from? Well, they come through objects in three-dimensional reality. In three-dimensional reality, the objects are the planets, okay?
Okay.
All the sign energy flows through the planets, okay? Those are your object points that rule them.
Okay.
Okay, we call them personal rulers in astrology for what your behavior characteristics in people. Okay, and in the beginning there were only 7 planets because we hadn't discovered the other the 3 that we know about now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the personal rulers are called personal rulers because in a chart they change so quickly that for each person they can be different. The 3 outer planets don't do that. They move their orbit so slowly that they affect an entire generation because they're in one sign for an entire generation of people.
Oh wow. Okay.
So essentially they are influencers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And they have to do more with one sign than the other, as the personal ones have to do a little bit more with one sign than the others. Okay? And that's how they work. So they're not true rulerships as in classical astrology. But what they do is they help define better energy play.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. It refines the definition of the energy then.
Yes, it redefines the definition of the focus of the energy
Okay.
and what it is. Okay? And so that's the role that the planets play. So essentially the signs are what the energy is. Planets are how the energy is focused. Okay, and then of course the wheel of the zodiac is broken down into 12 house systems, and the house systems just tell you where the energy is going to play out.
Okay.
And that's essentially really simplistic, but that's essentially astrology. Okay, that's what it's telling you. Okay, and that is essentially the breakdown of energy through 1, 2, and 3-dimensional reality, how it was created, how they all with the divisions within itself, how it manifested everything.
Okay. Cool.
And
Yeah,
questions?
I don't think I have any other questions at this point.
Okay. Okay. Well, one question that does pop up is the universe conscious or is it unconscious? Right?
Okay.
That is
yes.
a question that comes up.
Yes. Yep.
So, when we look again through the kaleidoscope of astrology, and we view it with a microscope of astrology, okay, the nadir, which is at the bottom, which rules the 4th house and Cancer, okay, the nadir is our unconscious, okay, and that's water because of Cancer. Now, opposing that in Capricorn is what we call the midheaven. The midheaven is our consciousness, and it is Earth, okay, it's Capricorn. So, consciousness and unconsciousness are both feminine, okay? Water and earth. So, is the soul of the universe that we live in conscious or unconscious? And the answer is yes.
Interesting. Okay.
The water aspect is unconscious. All of the shapes, energetic shapes, individualized
Mm-hmm.
as objects of some sort, are conscious of themselves. Because that's the earth energy. And the earth is conscious, where the water is unconscious.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right?
Okay. So then, how would concepts such as universal consciousness and the Akashic record and ideas like that play in?
Well, you don't have to be conscious to to access the Akashic records. It's intellect. Okay. So now we're talking air.
Okay.
Okay. And again, air and fire expression and interaction. You can be conscious or unconscious for those two. Okay. Essentially, now we're talking about the horizon. Your ascendant,
Mm.
okay, and your descendant. Your ascendant rules versus the cusp of the first house. That's Aries. It's fire. Okay. So that's personal expression.
Mm.
Okay. At the other end, and that's your presentation. It's how you present yourself to the outside world, anything. Okay. Where your sun would be your true essence, Aries is how you want to project yourself out.
Okay.
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 Now, at the other end of the spectrum, you have Libra, cusp of the seventh house. We call the descendant. Okay. Those are your intimate truths. Okay. Those are things you know. You just know them. When you're born. As you're growing, these are things that you know, die hard, yes, these are truths of mine, okay? That is the descendant. Those would be what you access in the Akashic records, okay?
Okay. Okay.
So it would be the horizon where you would do that. It would have nothing to do with conscious and unconscious.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Any,
All right. I don't think I have anything else for you.
okay, all right. Well, thank you very much, and don't forget to subscribe.
All right. Thanks for joining us.